Paul Kelly and Paul Grabowsky, welcome to Australian Musician.
Great to be here.
First of all, how has this COVID-19 lockdown affected both of you, and what plans have you had to put aside for 2020?
Well, I think, anybody who is in the live music industry will know that it's been a savage kind of, like a massive bushfire, which has swept through the industry and left nothing but black and smoking stumps. It's going to be a while before we have live music, kind of functioning in the way that it used to. So in that sense, it's been really brutal. But I think that, people have tried to adapt to it in many different ways, and out of it have come some really interesting initiatives. I mean, there's quite a few live streaming initiatives which are very interesting. Some interesting collaborations going on online. I mean, people, can't be made uncreative through these things. People are creative, and they won't stop being creative because of COVID. But they'll rise to the challenge, and I'm sure that out of these things always other interesting things emerge. But it'll be interesting to see where we land when the thing is passed. And it won't be the same, I don't think.
Yeah. Have you been coping, Paul Kelly?
Well, probably I don't have that much to add to what PG said in a general sense about the effect it's had. The thing I miss the most, I mean, apart from playing we had a whole lot of shows lined up. Paul and I had our shows lined up that we keep seeing roll by on the calendar, marked cancelled. So that's obviously frustrating. Not being able to play to a live audience is one thing, but something I really missed is just not being able to play with my band. So yeah, you get into a room with other musicians and just have fun, working on new songs or rehearsing for a show. So that camaraderie and collegiality that we have, and I know it's very strong in Melbourne with the music scene in Melbourne, with a lot of interchange of people playing maybe in 2 or 3 different bands and playing in different venues from night to night. Just getting in a room together and jamming and playing for fun, all that's had a real break put on it. On a personal level, I'm okay, because I just had to adjust and make this time as like what I would normally do when I'm on a break from touring, and it's a writing time, or what I would call a woodshedding time, or staying on the tools kind of time. So I've actually been playing a bit more piano than I would normally do, because I'm at home more.
That sounds dangerous.
I'm looking forward to getting together with PG so I can, maybe cop a few licks from him.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into the new album, which is called "Please Leave Your Light On," which is basically Paul Kelly songs arranged by Paul Grabowsky with just voice and piano. How did the project come about?
Paul invited me to take part in a concert at a beautiful small classical venue called Eucharia in the Adelaide Hills, which seats about 200. And Paul's been doing a series of concerts there with various singers, so expanding the range of the venue from just classical music to other kinds of music. And we did two nights there, and we straight away thought to ourselves, there's a record in this. And we quickly organised ourselves to go into a studio at Monash, where Paul works, last August for 3 days, and record the songs. And Paul probably tell you a bit more about the space where we recorded.
Yeah, so recently I've been working at Monash now for about 8 years, and I run a department called the Monash University Performing Arts Centres, which is a fairly new thing. During the last few years, we've actually built a new performing arts complex out at the Clayton campus of Monash University, with some really great spaces. And one of them is this place called the Sound Gallery. It's now called the David Lee Sound Gallery. Lee is spelled L-I, which is a room that allows you to control the acoustic according to your needs. So the room is full of sort of hidden loudspeakers and microphones, and is a kind of you could describe it as a massive reverb unit, but it also allows you to do a range of different amazing things in it. But apart from anything else, it's a really nice room to record in, and we've got a good piano there, beautiful piano. So yeah, the conditions were really optimal. I mean, because of the kind of music it is, the sort of space you record in is pretty critical to the success of what we were trying to achieve, which I think Paul would agree is, there's something very intimate about what we've made, and stripped back. And, you want people to be able to really hear everything very clearly and allow the music to linger. And I think that the way it's been recorded really and mixed really allows that to happen.
Why these set of songs? What was the criteria?
Well, I think, I've listened to a lot of Paul's songs over the years, and in a situation like this, again, just going back to what I said before, if you're wanting to create something which is intimate between, a pianist and a singer, then the songs need to suit that situation. And Paul has a very wide variety of songs. Some of them are more obviously driven by the groove and beat, and having a band is a fantastic asset for certain things, for a lot of his work, in fact. But there are some songs which are really kind of beautiful, reflective pearls. And I think we've focused more on things which he felt would work in a situation like this. And of course, because of those concerts in South Australia, we had an opportunity to road test this proposition. And I threw in one song, which is not a Paul Kelly song, which is a Cole Porter song called Every Time We Say Goodbye, which comes out of, the Great American Songbook. But as Paul says, probably the presiding spirit behind what we were going for, in a way, was Frank Sinatra from his late 1950s Capitol period, where he did albums like In the Wee Small Hours of the Morning and Only the Lonely, two masterpieces, orchestral albums, but very, very poetic.
Yeah. Paul Kelly, were any of these songs written on piano? And do you write a different kind of song on piano than what you would on guitar?
Yeah, I do. I can't make the chords move as quickly on the piano as I can on guitar. It's probably the big difference. So the songs probably tend to come out a bit more, what's the word, stately. I did. Let me see. There was Sonnet 138 was written on the piano, and also True to You, the one new song on the record and the opening song, and they were both written at a period not long after I had a year off in 2014, and I took piano lessons from Melbourne pianist that I'm sure you know, PG, Adam Rudiger. And I wanted to sort of get a bit better at, because I just as a musician I have a fairly limited range of chords. So the purpose of these piano lessons was to try and learn new chords, new voicings, maybe some New Orleans type stylings and flavors. Out of that came songs like True to You and Sonnet 138. what else? There's some other ones. Oh, Shoes Under the Bed. Way back. Which originally wrote on piano. So I haven't got the list of the songs in front of me, but I think there's probably.
What about God's Grandeur? Did you write that on the piano?
No. It sounds like it's a piano song now, though. But we did choose. Yeah, we chose songs. Really just choosing songs. I just went through, looked at old songs of mine, and so some will go way back, like Winter Coat. Winter Coat, I always thought was the song that I would, for years I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great for Frank Sinatra to sing that song. I always had Frank Sinatra in my head with that song, Winter Coat. It just the melody. So that was sort of top of the list when we started making a list. Just songs I thought would suit that intimate connection. We wanted to make the record a conversation or a dialogue between the piano and voice. So we've chosen songs that suit that. We ended up with a fairly, what I would call like a turn your lamp down low kind of record. It's a record that suits intimate listening, concentrated listening, and a reflective mood, I guess.
Yeah. Well, at what point in your career did you start really taking notice of the nuances of vocals and space and timing?
Well, probably pretty early on. I mean, I've loved Frank Sinatra for a long time, but it's sort of the kind of songs he sung was not. I couldn't really. They were sort of way beyond me. They still are those records. But I guess there's a lot of music I listen to and love that doesn't actually really suit me to do. I love a lot of hip hop, but I'm not going to be making a hip hop record anytime soon. But those things do sort of seep in. There's certain because I'm a conversational kind of songwriter, and I sometimes half talk, half sing. Hip hop influences sort of sneak in. I can hear them. I don't know if other people can, but just have been able to be sort of supple with the phrasing and words, and jamming words together in unusual ways. So, and I've always my years of listening to Frank Sinatra, I was, I guess, had some kind of effect on me singing this record, owning the space. I guess that's playing with Paul. It leaves you a lot of space, and Frank had that beautiful way of his voice, the way he could hold a note. Without mimicking it in any way, we just chose songs that would suit. What Frank had was that vulnerability with the swagger. One day he's a swagger man, next day he's the stagger man. So
there's a line of a song. PG, tell me about the beautiful Steinway that you recorded on, and how does one shop for a Steinway piano?
Well, one has to work at a university which has, budget for such a thing for a start. When we built the new centre, I was given the opportunity to shop for 2 pianos, actually. And so I settled on Steinway pianos, even though, I've had a Bösendorfer myself for many, many years. And I love that piano. And a good Bösendorfer is an amazing thing. But Steinways are very consistently, amazing. And because we wanted our venues to have pianos that people or students can play, but also people can play across a wide variety of genres. So I chose Steinways. I went to the Steinway factory in Hamburg, and they had, the first time I went, I was buying a Steinway D, which is the full-size concert piano. They had 9 of them lined up for me to test. So I actually asked a friend of mine called Piers Lane, who's a professor of piano at the Royal College of London, to come over, and so we could play for each other. Because when you're playing a piano, you can see what it feels like to play, but it's not the same as standing back and listening to it. So yeah, we settled on a beauty for the Alexander Theatre at Monash. And then the piano that we recorded on is a Steinway C, which is a slightly smaller, like a 7-foot. And again, the following year, I went over there and they laid out a bunch of Cs. This time I was on my own. They still use patents at the Steinway factory, which come from the 1870s. You know, there's kind of machine presses and bits and pieces that build pianos that are still, you know, appropriate to a 19th century piece of technology. So it is very interesting.
Why did you feel that Please Leave Your Light On was an apt title for the album?
Well, we had this again. We had those Frank Sinatra records, the Wee Small Hours and Only the Lonely. They're really downbeat, low lit records, I guess, in a way that. So we had in our heads the idea that it's sort of a turn your lamp down low record, or listen quietly, you know, with a fire on. Now, yeah, especially coming out in winter, I started imagining listening to this record by the fire with a glass of wine in your hand. So it's Please Leave Your Light On it suits that kind of mood, and it's a song about trying to find your way home, and this is. You know, we want this record to feel like coming home.
So what are the revised plans now for, I suppose, performance of the album? Will you be doing live streams, and what else are you working on?
We're doing a live performance. We're recording a live performance tomorrow, but I think it's for YouTube. But I think that will end up being. We're recording a couple of songs. They may just use 1 or 2. We have concerts all booked. At the moment, they've been postponed to later in the year, so we'll have to wait and see about that. There's a new music show about to be launched. I hope it's not top secret.
No, it's launched today.
It's based on the State of Music series that was sponsored, partially funded by the Andrews government. On YouTube, and they've called it something else. I can't remember the name, but it'll be from free-to-air ABC at 5:30 on Sunday nights, the old countdown time. So free-to-air music's coming back to TV, and we've been asked to play on that. So we're still working through all that. There's obviously strict protocols in place for all that kind of thing.
Yeah. And any other projects?
Not for me. This is I was just just staying at home, staying on the tools. That's about it.
PG, any projects in the works with you?
I've been approached by the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra to work with them as a composer in residence. So that's still in discussion, but that would be a nice thing to be doing, because I'm happy to compose, and I've got a number of other projects in development, but we'll just have to see how things go in the world around us before they really sort of take fruition. But I've got one that I'm really keen on, which is it's a kind of multidisciplinary project that I'm doing with Genevieve Lacey, who's a recorder player, and a visual artist called Amos Gebhardt, and a tuba player from Norway called Daniel Heskedal, I think his surname is, and a few other people. So it's about Antarctica, And we're actually doing it in conjunction with a scientist from Monash called Stephen Chown, who happens to be the president of the International Society for Antarctic Research. So that's something which will be taking shape over the next kind of year. But really beautiful to be working on something which takes me right out of my comfort zone. I mean, into an area that I know I'm just learning about really for the first time.
Yeah. All right. Well, Please Leave Your Light On is the album out July 31. Thanks both for joining us.
I just want to say, why I love working with Paul Grabowsky is that I can't think of too many other people that can write music for a tuba and recorder at the same time. More power to you.
My favourite combos.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.